Hi everyone, it's Nancy from PapercraftsArts. I know it's been a long time since I did a video, but I've been real busy. My husband and I started a new business, mostly his business. I'm a partner in the business. And it's a archery learning center because he's an archery coach. He's certified at level 3 right now. So that's been keeping me real busy. But now it's back to my business, and things have settled down at the center and they're going real smoothly, and we're real happy with how things are going. So yeah, that's why I've been away for quite a while. I have a project to share with you today, and I wanted to let you know that I saw this on a video I watched by Rachel Tomlinson, and I'll link the video for you in the description box below. So let's get started. Let me show you the pockets I made. These are a way to recycle tea bags, that used tea bags. I drink a lot of iced tea. I like Arnold Palmer's, which is a mix of lemon and tea. So I have a lot of used tea bags, and I wanted to find a way to use them and put them in my journals, just to kind of add interest and something different to put in your journals. So these are the pockets I made, and they're really easy to make. This is vellum in the background. This is the tea bag right here. That's the pocket that holds the tag. And this is just a shipping tag that I collaged. I added a die cut, and I'll show you. So I was just gonna make one of those today. And this little tag is a bunch of tags that I made. Did a mass make of these. I had all these little cutouts from these window tags I sell in my store, and I wanted to do a mass make with them, and this is what I came up with. So that's that tag. And then this is a little belly band across the top, and little embellishment, and that's about it. And here's the other one. This one I put a little metal leaf charm on it, and a little mushroom die cut label, and same kind of tag, very similar. And then I stitched around both of these, but these pockets can easily be made with without stitching, without sewing. As you can see, I also sewed through the belly band on both to sew all the elements together, but you can do that with glue. You don't have to do it with sewing. And you can also attach these pockets with glue. So and if you wanted the look of faux stitching, you could do some doodle stitching around the edge, or you could use a stamp. There's stamps they sell that are like faux stitching, and you could stamp around the edge if you really wanted that look. Or you could actually hand sew it and just poke holes with your needle and sew around the straight stitch around the edge, or a running stitch. Now there were two ways I did the pockets. First of all, I wanted to show you just a sample or example of how I emptied the tea bags. Both of these are made the same way, and I just basically pulled this open at the top, and I moved the string, and then I gently tried to pull away from the staple at the top. Okay, and then I came in. Some of them I did with my scissors, some of them came apart, easily. And these unfold like this. And then you just empty your tea out like that. And there's a seam up the middle. And I just separated that, and I just tugged on the seam just a little bit, and it opens up on its own like that. And then there's, of course, there's still more little flakes of tea left, and you can use like a soft paintbrush to get that out, to get the rest of them out. And there you have your tea bag. And this one I did the same way. I'll just do one more for you. Now this is a different one. This is, I think this is the Bigelow green tea. This one was red rose decaf tea. So this one doesn't have a staple. It just has, it's got the string tied. Same thing, it opens up like this. You just empty your tea out. Now when the tea bags are wet, I just take them and I put them on like a dinner plate and let them sit out for a little bit to dry. And then I empty them once they're dry. They're much easier to empty when the tea is all dry. This one's sticking a little bit. There we go. And there you have it. And then what I did was, after I collected quite a few, I actually put them in between two pieces of fabric and ironed on them. And ironed them out. And when you do that, let me just move this so I don't get tea everywhere. Put that aside. And this is what they look like after they're ironed. It flattens them out quite a bit. I have a whole bag of them here. Been making pockets for a long time there. But there's other things you can do with them too, so I still have more experimenting to do. So there's two ways I made these pockets. For the tea bags that came out kind of clean on the edges, I just folded it up. I trimmed off the edges. Like this one, I want to trim off that seam. So I just took a piece of cardstock with a straight edge and lined it up as best I could, and took my scissors and just followed along the edge of the cardstock to trim it up. Okay, now these two, these were Lipton tea bags. They came out really pinkish red, kind of like an avocado dyed, you know, color. And they were real ragged on the edges. This was like the first time I did these. So I thought, well, these don't fold up. These when you fold them up, they're kind of small. So, and I didn't want to make one layer of a pocket because I thought that would be too fragile. So I layered the two, okay? And then I squared it up to make it into the size pocket I wanted. I just trimmed off the edges. You can do this on your trimmer too. I tried it and it does work on my Fiskars trimmer. It's a rotary trimmer, so I wouldn't try one of those slider. I mean, mine's a slider, but it's a rotary blade, and it cut right through it fine. And I want to even up this one other edge. Let's see. Just a little bit. Line it up. Turn it over. And trim it. Like that. So I've got two nice, you know, fairly even pieces. You don't have to be real even. Pull my trash can over. And then what I did with this one was, and I just took a little bit of glue stick and ran it down the top just to keep those together. Because if you're going to stitch the pocket on, then you don't need to glue the whole thing, just the top part. Okay? But if you're going to not use a machine, then I would glue around all four edges. And the glue eventually dries so it doesn't stick, you know, to the tag. Okay, so we have our two pockets made. I have two ideas for the back. On the ones I showed you, I used vellum. So I have a piece of vellum here. And what I did, the vellum basically measures, just measure this. I think it's like it's about 4 by 4. But basically what I did was I just measured it according to, you know, the pocket, because the tea bags can vary in size. So I think I left about 1 inch at the top here. So I'll just mark this off like that. And then I left about, you know, 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less around the edge. So I'm gonna move that over and I'm gonna trim it off just a little bit right there. So I'm gonna go to my trimmer and trim that up. I'm gonna take this one and set it aside because we're gonna do a different backing for this one. So there we have this, and we have the pocket. Now the pocket, when you fold it, I use the folded edge for the top of the pocket, okay? So that's that. Then I decide which side I want to use. And to round the I rounded the corners. And to do that with vellum, I take a piece of cardstock and my corner rounder. I used a 1/2 inch on this one. This pocket. Just line it up with the cardstock and then I punch, and that way you get a nice corner. Sometimes vellum is just too flimsy to have success trying to round it with the corners without a stiff backing. I'm going to turn this around and do the other 2 corners. Okay, so we got the pocket, we got the vellum, and then I take just a little bit of Fabri-Tac to tack this down so it doesn't move around when I'm sewing. I let it dry first, and it doesn't seem to hurt my needle or my machine at all. Line it up best I can. Just tack that down. Rub off any glue if you're messy like me. And now this is ready to sew. But before I do that and take it to the machine, I want to make the little belly band that goes across here, okay? And with that, I just took some script paper, music paper. This is old music paper, and some script paper. This is from Lorna, who is TaylorMadeJournals on Etsy. I got this digital from her, and I will link her below in the description box as well. I'm going to use some burlap on here with the flower. So I'm going to cut my burlap. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, it's better if it's not a perfect cut. And just adds a little texture to the whole look of the pocket. And then I frayed the edges a little bit. Laid that down, and then I need an embellishment. There's all kinds of things you can use. This time I thought I'd try one of these buttons that I've had in my stash for a really long time, and I think I got them at Hobby Lobby. So I thought I'd try that button. Since it bothers me to have a button without the holes filled up, I'll just take some string here. I hope everyone's doing really well. We had, we're having really warm weather for February in Ohio. It's like 53 outside today. And like 2 days ago, it was like 17 degrees. And the weather's been like that all winter too. Okay, so we got a little knot made. And just trim these off. Push my little trash pile to the side. And so that's the embellishment we'll put on after I sew it. And one more thing. I think I will ink up these edges a little bit using some vintage photo. This is Distress Oxide. You could use the regular Distress ink. Okay, so I'm going to go to the sewing machine, and I am going to sew a straight line across here to tie all these elements together and sew around the edge, and I will be back. Okay, so I'm back, and the good thing is Kitty got up while I was sewing, so he has left the premises. So I also forgot to say that, you know, if you don't have a sewing machine, just tack these pieces together with glue so you don't have to sew them. Okay, so now we just attach the belly band and the pocket is done basically. As you can see, I did, you know, I stitched all the way around, and then I did a second line of stitching that was made it sort of gave it the messy look. And I did the same with this piece too. Okay, so I'm going to take some art glitter glue. I also took my threads and pulled them to the back of the piece and tied them together and then trimmed them. So all I do is add some glue to this end. Come on, oh, there we go. My pin, I have to change my pin. It's not stainless steel, so it discolors my glue a little bit. All right, so put this on wherever you want it on the pocket. And time to put my embellishment on. We'll just use some art glitter glue to put this on. And then a button. Alright, so that's the pocket pretty much made. Now we need to make the tag that goes in it. Now I use shipping tags that I coffee dyed, and I just cut them down, and maybe I marked them, just decided where I wanted the tag to hit at the top, and then I marked it where it would hit the bottom of the pocket, and then I trimmed it. So I'll be right back. So I have my cut down tag, and then I decided I wanted to round the corners. So I took the 1/4 inch side of the punch and rounded the bottom ones. And then, let me put the top on my glue here so it doesn't get clogged up. And then I took my scissors and just kind of rounded those other corners. It doesn't take much, just a little bit. Just trim them off ever so slightly. This one I didn't quite get. And a little bit more on this one. There. And I actually got all my stuff ready here. So we'll put our pocket aside up here. And I just had a box of scraps. I wanted to keep the tag kind of neutral. Okay, so here's your tag for that back part. And then I have one of these tags that I made. So there's that tag all made. I'll stick that in there, and like I said, you could hang a charm from this tag or that tag. So there's one pocket all done, and this can sit in a journal, on a journal page. Let's see if I have some. Hold on. Let me just get this. Say this is a journal page, and put it on your page. You can put it, glue it on this side, this side, this side, and make another pocket in the back. Or you can make it more of a tuck spot and glue it on this side and this side to slip a tag in like that. So there's a few options there too, but these are already made. You can make a whole bunch of these up at once, since they really don't take a long time. The other one I wanted to show you was this one that we made with the 2 layers instead of folding it. And instead of using vellum as the background, let me just put these away. I used parchment that I've been using to dye my paper on. So if I use any kind of glue on this, it'll most likely stick because the coating on this has been, you know, I've reused this piece like many times. So the coating that's on parchment when you first take it out of the box is probably most likely worn off by now. When I did to cut the parchment, let me get that pocket that I have all ready to go. This is the one I have ready to go. When I did that, I already glued the pocket on for sewing. I measured it out on the, you know, area that I wanted, and then I doubled it so I could fold it up and make it 2 pieces instead of 1. That gives it a little bit more stability. And for the corners, I did the same thing as I did with the vellum. I used the cardstock as a backing, and then punched my corners. So this one is all set, ready to go to be sewed. And this is the one that isn't folded. So this top edge has been glued with some glue stick, like I showed you earlier. And then we have the belly band that we did. Same theme here with the script and the music paper. And then I'm not sure which one I'll use here. Probably this one. And then I had some fabric that I dyed with avocado, so I cut that up and frayed it on the edges. I have this little metal embellishment I had laying around. I might eventually find a little jewel to put in the middle of that. And then I thought, oh, this would look really pretty if I added a little bit of lace. So I thought, and then we put the lace right there, and put the embellishment right there. And I think that looks pretty cool. If I can get the lace to hang down a little bit like that. Okay, so all these pieces are ready to be sewn. I'm gonna tack these 2 pieces down, and the lace and this piece of fabric with a little bit of fabric tack so they stay together when I sew them. And since I want the lace to hang down pretty low, I may not catch it with sewing. So I'm gonna make sure that I tack that down real well with fabric tack as well. So I'm gonna turn the camera off and I will be back. Okay, so I'm done stitching, and this is what the belly band looks like. As I was stitching this, the thought crossed my mind that, you know, the back of this is kind of, you know, with the stitching and the lace, the tag might get, that you slip in, might get caught on it. So what I do is I have a piece of paper here, and I'm just gonna rip a piece off to cover the back without it showing too much. Kind of fold it where it needs to be torn, and then I'll cover the back with this piece of paper, and then that makes it kind of like a smoother surface for the tag to slip in and out of. And that looks pretty good. Alright, We're gonna have to work on that lighting a little bit, but I apologize if it's not perfect. Okay, so all we have to do now is glue down the ends of our belly band. About there. And I want it to hang over the edge a little bit. And our pocket is made. We still have to put the embellishment on, and I think I'm going to do that with some 3-in-1 adhesive. Sometimes the glue down in my studio here gets really cold, and it doesn't want to flow. So okay, so we'll let that set just a little bit, and we'll do the tag, which I have all set up here. And this is a shipping tag that I dyed with avocado dye. Trim and put in our pocket, and then we'll get the other tag. Okay, and our second pocket is done. Put that over to the side like that. Pocket number 2 with parchment paper, and like I said, the double layer is good. It seems to be sturdy enough to stick in a journal page and use it as a pocket. So that's it. That's my project for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.